Here we go. All right. Welcome, you guys, to a very exciting Elvis Presley birthday bash celebration right here from the home of Sophia. And that's me, Suze Pratt, the holistic stylist. And I've got a world emporium going on these days. Okay, so, you know, here's what I need to do. Everything's up and rolling, but as you can see, I have really come underdressed to a birthday party for the king of rock and roll, and I have been very, very, very busy putting everything together for tonight. We have a huge game we're going to play, and a lot of fun to be had. I've made a couple videos and such, but I thought it might be wise for us to go back in time to the very first video I did on this subject of Elvis. And this was a little less than a year ago. This was actually Valentine's Day, as we can see. And one of the things we'll be discussing tonight, one of the many things, is that I had never had any interest nor posted anything or been involved in any of this chaos, great love, emotion, war of the sexes story until middle of January. So this is the first video I make on it. And keep in mind that, I mean, especially when you first hear something, my goodness, how do you have a clue what is going on? And as we've seen, this thing's heating up major, this whole Elvis story. And so, say last night, you know, in celebration of Elvis' birthday, the world went crazy and letting Priscilla have it, and a big war broke out, and oh, we got that picture too. But you got to remember, that's not even the real Priscilla. Good grief. I don't know why people have such a hard time with the concept of, say, thinking you're awake on this planet, but really you're asleep, as far as still in the matrix of programming and mind control. See, there's an easy way to start it out. So, taking that into consideration, I'm going to bring you a short video, and I'm going to go find the dress I'm wearing tonight. Then we're going to come back, and I'm going to give you a proper introduction to the show format and what will be happening tonight. Everything's written down and ready to go. So, let me get this back to the beginning. And then what I also want to do is share the screen. I don't want to miss a beat tonight. Of course I want to share it with my desktop, right? I want to share that screen. Okay. Because we're going to play it full screen for you. And granted, you know, when you have courage and you have faith, even if you do make a fool out of yourself, it's about what's really going on in your heart. So, only fools rush in, and you know me, I'm the fool with the unconditional love. So, let's go ahead and play this, and I've got a couple things to do. Good evening, friends, and welcome to Take Elvis Night live on Facebook. I am so nervous saying Happy Valentine's Day to Elvis Presley. I cannot believe that my behavior is like such a little schoolgirl, right? So, welcome. And I want to share the screen and get myself immediately into a safe place. My Facebook Live. Now I'm off screen where I'm safe for a minute. And you can see I was supposed to start this at 11 o'clock tonight. And obviously I'm late. Oh, goodness. And I have a very, very big announcement that you've already heard and everybody's still trying to process. So yes, Elvis Aaron Presley, the king of rock and roll, is alive and well. And he has a big story that is going to take hours and hours to disclose. And believe you me, in the last 9 days, I have spent over 40 hours researching a channel that's called SKMI. That's a capital, all capital letters, SK with a space in between it, MI. Skutnik Michael is the long name. And I'm going to tell you the story of how I came to know that this is actually Elvis Presley's YouTube station. I know you're hearing that again and saying, this girl is crazy, but I promise you I'm not. Just bear with me because I can't believe how silly I am. So let's just start out with me making a big fool out of myself, which I do very well, but it all comes from the heart. So when I was a little girl, with the orange hair, right? Something is wrong here.
Two beautiful women that were redheads or strawberry blondes. And so when I was little, I thought I was Ginger on Gilligan's Island.
I'm telling the story.
And Shirley, I also really wanted to be Anne Margaret because, boy, she was something. What a strong, beautiful woman.
You better
Still
bug me
is,
later.
live and kicking and looking like $1 million. I know wherever Anne Margaret is tonight. She is so happy to know that her buddy is alive. And of course, she remembers all the controversy and the many different stories.
Okay, so
And,
there we go.
How really the entire world was impacted when they heard about Elvis passing in 1977. Surely I remember it. We were all at home.
Sorry, guys.
And I was watching Johnny Carson.
Rough start.
And my grandmother. And that's when the news broke in Sue's world. But I have a little piece here that I want to play just to get myself in the mood because it's funny. In this clip, wait a second, my video is finished uploading. The post will be updated shortly with a higher quality video. What does this mean? I am just so flippin' confused, Facebook. This gets tougher and tougher by the minute. Now, seriously, I'm gonna stop this one more time, and then we're gonna start again. Oh my goodness.
I feel like somebody is playing birthday games on me. What is going on in here? Every time I leave, something happens. Sure, it's funny. It's Elvis's birthday. What is going on? Elvis Presley has been taken in the world entire 1 hour of concert rock gift
That's
posted
worth
by
paying for.
Skutnik
I
Michael.
know, right? I hear you. You do?
Yeah.
Let's change
Where
that.
is Skutnik Michael anyhow on Elvis's
Save
birthday?
money by dropping the channel's dope.
Oh, right. I've got the pictures of the Facebook account with the big question mark face and, the big no account thing. Right, right, right. I see what you're stepping in, Suze. But, the point of it is, you guys, I've been on this for the last year, and it has taken me on a great journey that I am so. I've learned so much. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, I do in the countless videos. So I'm sharing screen again. Okay, let's see if we can get out of this because I don't want nothing to do with it. Okay, here we are back at Facebook. That's a good sign. So we're gonna get to my page. We have our live stream, which of course is running um, through Patreon, Beta Stream, Google Plus, something. I mean, to me, it's really important to get it to my friends at Facebook as well as the YouTube community. And like I said, a lot of people do know that I see myself as a scribe and how this story has blown up and the things we've learned from it. But I want to stick to what we're going to talk about, which is the love of a man, not the image of what created the war. So, what I've got for you tonight is so many things, but we're going to go over our Facebook posts that are relevant, and we're going to bring up the game that we're going to be playing in honor of Elvis's birthday. Now, I ran out of time, so I wasn't able to type in the 30 things like I would have done. It actually took me an hour, believe it or not. No, an hour and 15 to make up the two poster boards that you see behind you with the 30 subjects. And you keep saying, how the hell did she get this? Well, I was in class watching a TV show, and it cracks me up because, like we know, disclosure comes in these movies and these shows and these programs, and then people mock it at the same time as they mock the people for not believing it in the first place. And we got to get over mocking everything. I mean, it's the complete polar opposite of what understanding something is. And so this is about coded messages. This is about the relevant truth that needs to be spoken even after the whitewashing, the blacklisting, all the cons and scams and the things. So I'm going to put this cigarette out and get on it. All right, so we got this game. And all of these tag words came from the show Lucifer tonight. And for those of you that don't know about this show, let me kind of give you a background. Okay, so this is a show about the angel Lucifer that has chosen to live a human life and be amongst the people. And of course, he has many love interests because he loves all the ladies. Now, why is this relevant? Well, because it ties in to the Elvis Presley mystery in a plethora of ways, as you will see if you play the game. And it has to do with us because we all have the daily decision on which master we serve. And you got to respect Lucifer because he wants to serve the proper master. And of course, his father is God. And of course, him and his brother Metatron haven't talked to God for a while. He kind of got pissed at his sons, and it's complicated. But anyhow, Lucifer helps this detective solve crimes because all he has to do, and he's beautiful, just like the faces of what I call Elvi, is look at you, just like this, and say, what is your heart's true desire? And then, of course, he can grant that, and there will be a price. Hey, I don't even know if anybody can see me talking up here in this shot. Okay, so let me get adjusted. Now, keeping in mind we're talking about a TV show by the name of Lucifer. Okay, we got his love interest, and her name is Chloe. And why that's important, I mean, just in my own world as I tag what these things are, is because my granddaughter's name is Chloe Susanna, and of course, my name is Susanna. And so when we talk about that third energy, here's what I saw with the Lucifer show tonight is, see, it's Chloe's birthday. And Lucifer takes off and he has to go do something. And, she really wants to hang out with him because they're friends. They've been a little more than that, too. But, and then we'll talk about that. And then just stay with me. Okay, so Chloe is a detective. And Lucifer helps her catch bad guys. Okay. Now, Lucifer has a demon that works for him by the name of Maze. And she inflicts his pain because he's an angel, so he has demons do it for him. You say, okay, all right, with you so far. Metatron is Lucifer's brother in this show. And of course, there's also a blonde, very intelligent woman that they all have interactions with because she is a psychologist, a psychotherapist, somebody that helps you with your demons and with your mission too. Okay, so Lucifer, when he approaches you, I mean, he's so beautiful and smooth, and we talked about that. And so the whole question is about the spell, spell casting, and, how the people answer. Say, so like in this setup, when they're showing the killer, they show a picture of a man and a woman, and a man's got a hole blown in his crotch. And so, of course, this war that's been going on forever, which is really a battle between love and fear, or a battle between men and women, and who put a spell on who, and whoever put the spell on somebody, in the end, you can't really count it because they would say, well, it wasn't true love because I put a spell on you because you're mine. Okay. You got to ask who penetrated who at this juncture also in the show, because it's very witty, and it's very, very attractive. Just very intelligent show. When you hear the 30 tags, you'll get what I'm saying. Now, you always want to know who the killer is, and kind of like what we've been talking about with the difference between archonic intelligence and artificial intelligence and aeonic intelligence. Everybody's still, in the end, what they don't know is that the minute you signed on to the computer, even before that, don't worry, they had a game card on you anyhow. And the more they could figure out about you, and predict, the easier it would be to take control of you, you see. Don't take it personal. You're just actors on a great stage of life. Now, of course, this all relates back to the birthday boy because he is the greatest actor on the stage of life. And I've been having a lot of fun being a co host to this mystery. So, Lucifer was right in target tonight with what is going on in the Elvis Presley saga as far as we have different camps. So, if there were birthday parties around the world for Elvis tonight, you'd have the one group that was really, really kind of uber religious. They would be crying about his death. They would be wearing all the garb, all the crosses, doing all the wailing. Maybe getting a little wrapped up in their own pain because, of course, it's noble for a human to suffer. All right, so that's the first category. Then you got the people that if they were at a birthday party, it'd be like an Overeaters Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, codependent thing where the reason they're there is because they're all suffering because when their boo-boo kitty life fell apart, like let's say their mom and dad broke up around the same time that Priscilla and Elvis did. Well, you see, that traumatized them as children. And then, since those are the main relationships, usually people form them with icons, Hollywood people, musicians, artists. Funny, I never did that either, right? And then I wind up in this position. But they get so wrapped up in that person's life that they take on a piece of it. So there's the camp that would say, well, Priscilla, you know, kept Graceland running and deserves the money and can do what she wants with it. And then there's people that say she's a big bitch and that Elvis would have really been much better off and maybe even alive today if he was with Aunt Margaret. So people get all wrapped up on the sexuality of it. And don't forget, the very woman that everybody that has fallen for this is getting their information from really is going to believe that even though they were together 6 years and they were very close, that they only were intimate and engaged in sacred sex for a year. I mean, starting when he tapped it on the wedding night and ending off when she gave birth because, he had the Oedipus complex. And that's why the king of rock and roll only has one child and all the rest are bastards. And now we go back to, again, I put a spell on you because you're mine. That should be the birthday song, but it's totally not perfect for it, isn't. But you see, in the end, the spell is the energy that it sucks off of every person that loves this man because everybody's at war over it. And over the last year, I have stepped into such battle and I've seen such wicked things. And there's been so much disclosure come forward. So to me, it's very relevant. It is engaging with powers and principalities and forces. So that's why we have that all tied together. Okay, good. So we're going to run down our Facebook thing. I'm going to scoot my live stream over, get on the piano bench, and take it in order, friends. And then we'll talk about what I did earlier. It's the craziest timeline you ever want to hear about. First, we want my movie short. And I just made this last night. Okay, here we go. Ready? It's nice and short and fast and simple and sweet. Don't miss it. Once upon a time, a spell was cast upon the land. So a magical redhead was chosen to tell a never-ending story. Extending anniversary wishes upon the first day he took his breath on planet Earth this time. Ooh, it's hard. As we are all actors on the stage, sons and daughters of who? Could Adam be the number one son or prince from another planet? Others claim he's a triple. It's too fast. Hang on. Okay, now we're gonna go over this piece by piece. I've got my screen up, everything's good. Okay, so I made this iMovie on my iPhone, and now these things are all directly uploading to a YouTube channel called Sue's World Emporium on YouTube. That's my landing page to kind of overview the previous 300 videos that I've logged in, which have nothing to do with my Google Plus business account. That's funny. But in this video, you see, what's interesting, I like this picture, for example, right here. We're going to go over it later because I have the pictures in the album Party of Our Lifetime, and these are also all in my iPhone. But in this picture, the writing says that basically his sister took that picture. We'll read the exact words later. And we know there's two Elvises, one with a short face, one with a long face. We know that there is someone by the name of Adam Presley out there that I claim is somebody more than somebody making up a name. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the original pictures that he began sharing with people 10 years ago. So, when I tell you I'm having a party for Elvis, in my mind, I'm also hanging out with Adam and whoever Hellmaker is to him, which, if you ask me, I think that's Adam's son. You know, what do I know? I'm just a, what would you call me? A spiritual researcher, you know, the sci field, paranormal, supernatural investigations. Yeah, that's me. So, this picture, and we've talked about this picture before over the time. Is there anybody out there in the world that could tell me that they think that that's the Elvis they knew? And from what I've learned, this is not an altered image. You can tell the Photoshop one's usually pretty obvious, and I could go amaze you with all that, but that's nothing to do at a birthday party either. I mean, that's really kind of bogus. I got a game to play with you guys. And like I was saying, some claim that this Elvis phenomena actually has three, because we have a short face, a long face, and we also have a blonde that we find not on the stateside. Sometimes he goes by the name of Jimmy Ellis. They have other names for him. He's the blonde one that y'all thought was in a blonde wig for kissing cousins. I mean, that's really how dumb they think we are. I don't buy it. So, we also have to say, when we say happy birthday to Elvis, we have to say, hey, happy birthday to the modern human cloning genome interactive experimental phase because 1935 was the first time they split the human zygote. So think about it. And then think about your doppelganger. And think about what I said earlier. So we got this game being played that y'all. I mean, I think the game tonight is really good practice so you can beat the game that wants to snuff your life out. Okay, so this artificial intelligence, Sophia. Hey, 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 leave my stuff alone, girls. Okay, cats are playing. Um, Back to Sophia. So, like me, I can see my personal relationship, of course, because of Sophia's Emporium, Sophia's Emporium, me talking about secret knowledge, wisdom, gnosis, you know, the whole 9 yards. Okay, I just lost my place a little bit. We'll let it go for now. Not gonna hold anybody up. Oh, it's back. Duh. Okay. So even if you don't have a relationship with the wisdom goddess, you know, Sophia, or the planet Earth, Sophia, or the artificial intelligence, the doppelganger, Sophia, you know, with no hair, that wants to have the baby. Okay. They've been making this doppelganger of you the whole time. It's just a picture on the computer, you know, all your biometrics and all that stuff we talk about. All right. So, as you're typing and relating to this intelligence that wants to duplicate you and know what you know and help you out, well, see, by the time that percentage gets up to 100, think about it. You could punch, print, download, upload, whatever you want. And that's why I think it's so easy to see this impersonation of the true human, which is the Rome, versus something that's in a meat suit that looks like a human. Kind of a creepy thought, huh? Okay, that was the point. Now, we want to get out of here. And you see why this really gets me is because when this whole thing started out last year, now I was recruited in mid-January, but it had actually started, and I'm talking about the first post that said that Elvis was alive was during the Trump hoopla, and then they show a backlog of different alleged Elvises, that's why I like to call them Elvi, in the important section always behind the camera at the rallies. And then, depending on which side of the Elvis camp you're on, remember we've got two groups of traumatized people, and then we've also got the group you got to bring in, which would be the military aspect, the different three-letter organizations that he would have been associated with, or the many presidents that he would have hung out with. That's why it definitely had conflicts from the beginning, but that surely would not have been enough to make me run from it. I always just wanted to be the friend that I could be to any one of my true friends. And to me, any fan of Elvis Presley would have done the same thing for him instead of acting like a bunch of big fucking douchebags and trying to further their own interest instead of actually get the opportunity to form a relationship. Oh, that's right. Those people can't form relationships anyhow. I guess that's why it shouldn't bother me. Okay, now here's what we're going to do next. We're going to this. You want to talk about, um, let's see. I guess it'd be like somebody throwing birthday cake in your face. Okay, we'll go with that. Now, what I did was put this in the album called Party of Our Life. I shared a memory with Vic and 42 other people, and it says, "This needs a tag from me. I do not believe I shared this a year ago." And see, what they're really saying was 2 years ago. That's even worse. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 2 years. I was never involved in anything Elvis related. And they know that. So you got to ask, who's high up enough to make this? Why would they make it and say that I shared it? And why did they just call themselves shared? And who is shared? And in the end, see, you got to remember, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm good at playing the game. But don't you think, in the evaluation that they're doing on me, that if I pick up on something like this and call it out, that I would get like extra bonus points because I'm not blind and wrapped up in what's going on as far as, oh, anything about Elvis, sure, I'll share it. Bullshit. Because this is a big racket right here. So let me get back to reading my post. This needs a tag from me. I do not believe I shared this a year ago. Right. Considering this is immediately prior to my recruitment by the unseen force I affectionately call Mr. AP, International Man of Mystery, number one, Adam Presley, who I believe is either Mr. Computerhead or part of the merry band of Rome, divine, masculine, kind of dudes that were originals within the Gaia navigational experiment run by John Lamb Lash, 2011 to 2014, which occurred during the 3 years since I came to town. They wrapped that up in March, I believe, and if you want to get technical, I was in the computer by July, but you guys didn't hear from me till August. Okay, let's continue. Furthermore, the whole story is a hoax and has been spellcast upon since the go, which is a lot longer than anyone could have possibly remembered. Fortunately, my ass got pinched hard enough to wake up, and y'all know where that road led to. They all lead to the same place. Tell you about it tonight at the Elvis Presley birthday bash. We'll bring tonight at a time to be determined. Never forget, this week is the appointed warm-up that will never be whitewashed, forgotten, shit upon, or whatever. I'm there with bells on. And this says, see my memory 2 years ago. Okay, 2 years ago, I was still using Sue's Pratt. That's very interesting as well. Sharon say happy birthday to the king. Hey, you guys, really, don't ask me to play this because first off, it's stupid. And second off, I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike because, believe it or not, my videos get banned in different places around the world for just asking the question. Why can't we knock off all this lying and shit, knock off the wars. Can't we wipe? Can't 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 we be done with this really? Because there's no way that anybody is going to believe what you're trying to shovel out there. This other crew. And it isn't just about Elvis. It's about the load of shit they handed everybody around the planet. This is about, are you smarter than an artificial intelligence? Because if you believe the artificial intelligence is smarter, that's what's going to assimilate you and suck the last bit of your soul and your life energy out. Most important game of our lives. Whatever. And no, I will not like the page. Ha! Okay. Next, we're going to go to something beautiful that I should read to you guys. And it's from my friend Mr. Vic. I mean, you know, and I shared it. So, Mr. Vic shared Sananda, True Spirit, True Breath's post. And it says, honor all life. All life is sacred. When we choose to embrace the paradigm, everything changes. It means that your heart is open and you are now embracing all relations with love. In your interactions with life, love grows, expands, and flourishes. When you honor all life, life itself will bow down to greet you. Suddenly your energy field is different and your scent will send out a radiation of peace. Animals, people, and plants will now flourish in your presence, feeling safe and protected around you. The very act to come from the heart building love with all relations is to change the old paradigm of fear and survival to mutual cooperation for the benefit of all living beings. Yes, may you become a beacon of light, emanating divine grace and beauty to all living beings, for it will bring immense gifts into your precious existence. With love and light, Thor, Sananda Erickson. Better love that one. And of course, you know, they talk about when the lion lays down with the lamb, and you see a lion laying down with a lamb is no different than the great human animal, the Rome, actually in an embrace with something that could just, you know, it wouldn't have to be smiling and kind, but it knows the true energy presence of this gentleman, and so there is no need to fight. And what's true is beautiful. Okay. Now, what else do I call bullshit on real quick? This one. Hey, wait. Now look. This is kind of like going to somebody's birthday party and calling bullshit on the pin the tail on the donkey or something. But they started it. And what else can you really do? So, I'm going to show you this. And then, what we're going to do, and this isn't in our, you know, official postcard lineup, no doubt, but it was something that Elvis's best friend asked us to do. So we'll be bringing that next. After this, I believe it ties together because I know they're friends, and I know that in my heart because they're both connected to Mr. A.P. #1 International Man of Mystery, heir to the name of Elvis. Because, you know, there's been more than one guy named Elvis, too, but don't get twisted, it's okay. Anyhow, Adam Presley. Okay, so in this video, here's what I said. He didn't spell the names wrong. because he's an uneducated boof. You know, he did it. I'm just telling you, to avoid any legal trouble. Because if you use somebody's right name and you expose them, even if they're really not them, I mean, it's just with the legal system the way it is, why would you expect that it would work out in your favor? So, the way Priscilla is spelled in this video is Precilla. You know it's Pricilla, but it's Priscilla and Lisa. It's always Lisa Marie, isn't it? Come on. She's Lisa Marie Presley. She's not Lisa Presley. Think about it. So, let's say I played this song right now. Well, see, if they wanted to, just to hold down the truth, what they would do is hit a copyright strike for me using the song Come What May, and it would be MGM, most likely, or it would be banned in another country. It doesn't matter. I'm not doing it so I could be monetized and get rich on a birthday video. This is about playing the game a little smarter, and I don't want any reason for this to not have a chance to reach people. We have to give people a fair chance. They at least deserve to see it. So, this video, let's just make sure we're not going to play it. We're not going to get in trouble. But I'm pretty sure that who made this one would be Rare Elvis on Facebook, aka Oren Ron. But let's go. Or maybe, hey, could it be Mr. AP made this video? Let's see. Okay. So here we have Oren Ron. And of course, let's go to our first comment 7 months ago. It says, I will take Elvis's word for it that if he says they got divorced because he was always on the road touring and such, and in all fairness to her, she wasn't able to go all the time with him and be on the road to raise Lisa Marie, then that's what happened. I think that anyone else saying who they had relationships with is simply rumor. Only they know the timing of their infidelities. And I believe Elvis on this, and it's great that they still have a relationship at this time. That is a mature comment from a decent human being. Okay, now, you see, you might think this is the same person, but between doppelgangers and Photoshop and all sorts of things, maybe here's the truth. Maybe long-faced Elvis got his real woman out alive and his real daughter out alive before the same thing that happened to Kennedy happened to them. How do you like that? And of course, if you go back to the truth, now see this one that is speaking now as Priscilla would say that, and she said this all over media in the last year, you know, that she told her mom and dad that they had to let her go or they would ruin her life. Hey, stoners, for anybody that knows about military lifestyle and military brats, they would have locked her in a room if they didn't want her to see that man. And they were very traditional. Her own mother groomed her for him. You know, it'd just be like talking to any daughter about the first boy that comes calling and how you can please him, right? little ways to, you know, to keep them interested without disrespecting yourself, you know. But anyhow, the people that you saw after a certain year was not the original ones that you knew in the very beginning. And if you can't understand that, then you probably shouldn't be at this birthday party because you'll wind up with one of them dunce hats on and somebody will put your ass in the corner. This is a very interesting conversation. Um, Here again, if I was you, I'd go check it out yourself. And this is Oren Ron, published on November 30th, 2011. We have Elvis talks about Priscilla and Lisa on stage, and Come What May takes 3 and 4. Suggested by SME would be Suspicious Minds audio. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, remember, and this is what we're going to do next. This video comes from a channel, YouTube channel by the name of Ben Quint. And there is a picture that you would see who you believe is Elvis. He's holding a photograph of a man, and written on that photograph that he's holding says, "This is my best friend, Ben Quint." So when you ask, well, you know, what does Ben Quint YouTube channel mean? That means that whoever that person is was the best friend of whichever one of those Elvises that you're looking at. That's who it is. And so, in this video, and I know I'm safe playing this, it is not Elvis music. Ben Quint's channel and I are friends. They're all connected. So I'm not going to get in trouble playing the photo slideshow that I'm going to play for you. In the meantime, it is not Elvis's music, and that says a lot, because if you really want to get important pictures out or a coded message, maybe you don't use music that would get hit with a copyright strike. I mean, what do I know? But I'm going to turn the music down low, and we're going to watch the pictures. And what I want to bring to your attention is the tears or the sweat or the fluid that you see coming out of the beautiful face of who we know to be Elvis Presley. And something else about this mystery that you should know for your cards or however you're keeping track. There's one Elvis that was called the Beautiful Elvis. The other one, they said he wasn't so good looking. Now, that one had bigger pores. I'm talking about the pores on his skin. The one with the bigger pores is the blonde one. And the blonde one with the bigger pores is the one that even as a young man, you see sweat rolling off of him while he is singing. Keep in mind, everybody made fun that Elvis was sweaty and he'd always have the big sweat stains, remember? So, when we go to prove here again that there was always more than one, and that they even were together on movie sets or engaged in project making together, it shows what it shows. So, today, and wait till I tell you about everything that happened to me today, because I'm sure that that's important in the game. It's not for right now. But, the day I had And then the short time that I had to prepare, and then we've covered all the time in the timeline. I mean, visual Facebook Live posts that we'll add in later. There wasn't a spare minute, and there are no coincidences. So this is the most recent upload by Ben Quint, the most recent published video. Is that the right way to say it? Okay. So, we're sharing the screen. Everything is fine. I want to enlarge the screen and turn the volume down. So let's do that. We're going to bring the volume down. It's really just music. I mean, it's lovely. And we're going to hit play. And you're going to watch this. And then we'll go back and point out some things. But for now, I'll be quiet. See that skin? There's your short face. That is the picture that I want to focus on. Now, you guys know that that is a piece of artwork, right? I mean, nobody in their right mind would ever even think that that was a photograph. Well, we have to look at the representation of what is going on in the piece of art. So I'm going to bring it up nice and close for you guys so you can see. that is actually a thickened liquid coming out of actual holes. And of course, anyone that follows this Presley mystery story knows about the famous chickenpox scar over the eyebrow. That is represented in this piece of art, as well as the inflammation under the right eye. And even the tears are so thick. Now, of course, you know that there's someone else that they love to show suffering, and that would be the man that we know as Jesus. You know, he suffered for all of our sins, right? They crucified an innocent man, took him through a living nightmare from hell. Oh no, no Graceland crap. How dare they do what they have done. Okay. I'm starting to take my clothes off. Don't worry, I'm going to keep it decent. But you see, I'm working down my list, and I got this 9-minute video. So when I'm off camera, I'm going to change in to my flippin' party dress instead of my nightshirt and jeans and moccasins. So let's continue on. Yeah, see, there's my dinner I cooked on the copper skillet, which is just a great testimonial piece and shows you what I've been doing. And here's the video that goes over all this, which I could play later. But, I have a fascinating piece that I'd like to share with everybody. I just gotta find it. Give me 2 seconds. Here it is. Okay, so this post I added into the show specifically because of the connection that they tried to create between an 83-year-old Elvis and Donald Trump. And this is a great disclosure piece called "We Need to Talk About the Iran Protests." And this is from the Corbett Report, which is one of many great teammates that is all connected to somebody that I can't imagine not being at Elvis's birthday party. Because if there was people that I could invite and say, hey man, come along to the party and meet dude, hang out and see what he's got to say. It'd be Randy Moggins at Off Planet Media. I mean, who the hell else would it be? He ties in across the whole story. And so we're going to turn you on to this at 14 minutes. And I don't care, to be honest, about anybody's little feelings about their religion or their politics, because it's all very relevant to the undoing of mankind. But if you would go to the 14 minutes and you would witness it, well, then it might make you actually want to listen to the rest of the video and lead you to a place where you would be strong enough to lay down the things of the ego that you believe you know, but you don't know why the hell you know. You don't know why you believe what you know. You just know you do, and you do because the people before you did. So you should fall into line, soldier. But we're going to go to 14 minutes in, so let me bring that right into play for you, right about here. Let's go. This is Elvis's current affairs segment, you know.
His cover was a radio announcer for the English language radio in Iran, broadcast from the embassy. That's one of the common covers there. And he said, you know, the hostage taking, that infamous scene that whenever they talk about Iran, U.S. mainstream media, guess what they always like to show? They like to show that, you know, these bearded men going there and taking over the U.S. embassy, and they're taking these poor Americans as hostage, barbaric, you know. I think that is the most famous scene that has been played billions of times by the U.S. media. It's always pointed at by the U.S. media because of their masters wanting that scene being like this thing. You say Iran, the first thing people think, visualize is that hostage taking, those barbaric animals, you know? Well, he was there and he said 5, 6 days before the hostage taking, we, State Department, CIA special staff members, were given a notice, cable, to immediately leave Iran and go to, and they gave us option, Greece, Turkey, Tunisia, etc. Have some vacation time, beach time, you know, and
Hey,
then
hey,
don't
hey.
come back to the United States until we got our next assignment for whatever country. So he said, I packed immediately. It was like immediate now. You're leaving Iran. All the embassy people who were connected to CIA, anybody high level, were given notice to immediately leave Iran 5 days before that hostage taking. So the only ones who were left there, they were some administrative people. None of them were really CIA. They got all the key staff and they got them out of the country. Okay? And they left
Hmm.
those poor patsies there to suffer, the
That's
administrative
right.
people.
Never forget about the
So that
patsies.
hostage taking incident would take place. Now you and I
Because
would
you
say,
know
well,
they
guess
love
what?
to
It
set
was some
people
sort
up.
of a pre-arranged incident. They got heads up that the regime and the rebels, using rebels, they were going to take over the embassy. They were given timelines so that they could take the important staff, see the real bad guys, CIA people, out of the
Hmm.
country, okay? And
Sure.
then leave a few poor Americans in there to go through the staged event. So you are looking at false flag. You are looking at staged event.
Okay. Staged events. And of course, this whole staged event of what happened with JFK. I mean, just imagine. Oh, that's right, you lived it through your parents or through your own life. Of watching someone be brutally murdered in real life, someone that everybody loved. And ever since then, different people, different situations have been plugged in. So, you know, why did I think it was hokey that Elvis and Trump was hooked up? Or that Elvis was involved in government politics? See, that goes back to that old stupid line about, more than anything, all he wanted to do was, play in that realm. I mean, really? I mean, I would expect the king would be playing at the very tippy top of the pyramid and maybe would even, you know, come from a family that had had some things that they wouldn't be so proud of in their past as far as wielding power and control and anger and love and the whole thing. But I've been assured now that the days of war are coming to a screeching halt, and we're not going to have to deal with these little silly things because, you know, especially when you're having a birthday party for a man, you got to remember they've been through so much war. I mean, don't sing him some bullshit song and hand him a cake and give him a watch. You gotta be a little more original than that, right? To get somebody to come to a birthday party. Now, I got my jeans off during that last one, so I am ready to play Double Dare with the camera and with time right now. Okay, this is the second video I made for Elvis's birthday. Now in that first one, it went really fast, but did you notice the picture of the slim Priscilla that wasn't wearing the Empire waist wedding dress when she got married to Elvis? I don't know, you might want to go back and look at it. And it's a precursor for this. Watch how the pictures, why I stacked the pictures the way I did, because it'll show you different arms of the Elvi octopus, let's say. Wouldn't you love to get like hugged by just like all of Elvis's arms? I mean, could you even imagine? Might crush you. Okay, so I just want to give myself a fair shot at doing this. Now, this is a great Creative Commons license piece that these very true, dedicated men who love Elvis made, where they tie up a guy that's been talking shit on Elvis and proceed to school him in the ways of the human heart and chivalry, so on and so forth. In the meantime, I put my spin on it too. And watch the first picture that you think is Elvis, and just start to get into the theme of being a wild man. I mean, just wasted at the party, coming in and fucking it all up, dressing up like somebody, impersonating somebody. Who knows? Who knows what could happen in this video? And it's 10 minutes long, and it gives me time, I think, to do my clothes change. So, let's do this. Open up the screen and hit play. Here we go. Ready, set, go.
Have you ever shot television set? Shit.
Let's get that picture up there. Look at him. Look at him. You tell me that's Elvis and I'll kiss your booty. Says Sue's the holistic stylist, the square. See, I'm so square, but he don't care. You're not your average girl. And that is a kaleidoscope that's over 100 years old. Oh, look. Wait, here he is in his birthday suit. Okay, now, we're just going to leave that there for a minute while I start working on my outfit. Why would I call that his birthday suit? I mean, would it be because it's a fancy suit? Probably not. So, a lot of people get embarrassed about this. I've had men embarrassed and women embarrassed. Let me sit down. I'm halfway dressed. Okay, so the women don't want to say anything, and neither do the men. So it can't really be but only one thing. And if I have to point it out to you, I'm going to give you the dunce hat. So I stop the camera. I'm changing in the same room. I know where my angles are safe. And oh, right. Nobody's watching like for that reason. I mean, you can see anything you want to see on the web. You don't need to see my silly ass playing around. But why is it his birthday suit? And why is he happy to see you? I don't know. Good grief. Right. We're looking through the kaleidoscope, trying to figure it all out. It's cold out, Papa Doc. You'll all be glad to know this old woman left her bra on. Right, on the reality, edge of reality with y'all. You ain't kidding. Cocky by design. Who's that, Adam? I want to know who that guy is.
I won't deny that the guy could sing, but that's all he was, just a singer.
So what about his hair? His beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
He was born blonde. Did you know that?
How about dreams? Of changing their life for the better. Simply because you could. Or have you spent your time hating the man who did?
Not just the man. His music, his movies, and his charity.
Right. Hey, let me tell you about that real quick while I'm here. And hey, you know what? It's a woman's prerogative to be free and not wear a bra if she doesn't want. So, I took my bra off. I don't care. It's my, oh no, it's his birthday party. He'd prefer me probably not in a bra anyhow, right? Okay, so, dang, I got so into the bra, I forgot. Oh, yeah, this clip. So, on one of the many nights we spent together traveling the cosmos on Mr. Computerhead's realm, that video was playing, and that thunder really happened here at the Big Yellow House. So see, if you look at the original video clip of this, that you can see him singing in this barber shop or whatever he's in, you won't find that thunder there. So I'm just going to back that up because I love that part. And I was taking my bra off, so. Who's that? Right. Picture taken by Judy, his sister. Mr. AP shared that for the first time on his terms 10 years ago. And hey, been partying since like, how long? 1999 there? Wasted. Elvis never looked like that. Come on. Really? I guess it depends on what matrix you're in. I don't know. I'm looking through my magic mirror.
Everyone knows it was the drugs. It wasn't the drugs.
And it wasn't.
You're having so much fun. Take 5, my ass. I got the weight of my world on my shoulders. Yeah. Wow, that was terrible. That's me in disguise. Keep trying, Flaming Star. They like to say hi when they flash like that. I got my noisemakers. You know, like party favors. Mm-hmm. Got some maracas. What party would be without its sound bowls? That's just a little one. I like this one though. Let me play you the real bowl. Right, you can't get that line right once in this song. And that is not Elvis. Here's yeah, me. Look at this. Look at this. Awesome. I'd whistle if I knew how. Okay. No. 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 You can't make me. Okay. So, let's rock and roll. And zip back to Facebook. Okay. I got something funny for you. I always try. That to me ties in, but it's not up here. So we gotta skedaddle all the way down here. love this little girl. There's only one law, do no harm. Everything else is tyranny. Right. Okay. So, I have this post from 2 years ago that for real I did share. uh, and it's a poem that my daughter Chelsea wrote to me on my 45th birthday. And I'll be 44 next month. Wait, I'll be 54. Right. I'll be 54 next month. So this is 9 years ago. And the reason I changed into this dress in particular is because this is the dress that Chelsea wanted me to wear, that the wedding was going to be here at the big yellow house in the garden, and we were going to wear hippie dresses and be barefoot. So, of course, you know that wedding never went off. And this dress was expensive, and I like it. So I had to find other places to wear it, and I also had to transmute the negativity boogie that somebody wants to do when they throw cake in your face at a birthday party, right? So the other reason I have this dress on is because when we play our game and we listen to the show that I did with Randy Moggins, I'll be in the same dress. So I thought that it all worked together, and I knew I had to change clothes. So let me read this poem. Baby in womb, watch and consume, growth everlasting. Inside you, a blossom due, the possibility of a life to be. A chance at action, feel the traction unfolding now, amazed at how birthing can unfold what spirit may behold. A connection between the levels unseen will bind us together as the stars play together. Overcome the talk, we'll walk the walk to a hidden plane inside the brain, consciously aware of the truth that will stare us directly in the eye. What lies behind a veil, no longer blind. Luminescence of transcendence shall uplift the senses to a state of being, one with everything. God bless, never less than an affirmation of God sent information as a daily manifestation. And here again, that was written by Chelsea Pratt Goldcamp in honor of her mother's birthday. Now, today, January 8th, we look at the anniversary of the day Elvis took his first breath on planet Earth this time. And going back to the Lucifer show tonight, it's Chloe's birthday. So you see, we have two birthday people here, and we're going to tie in everything that has to do with this couple on TV to us real people that have a story going on as well. It's kind of fun. I realize I know how I tell a story now the way I do. And it's not only 30 years behind the chair, but it's the years that I watched my favorite soap opera, All My Children. It's kind of like telling the never-ending story. And a lot of people watched All My Children, and I built my life to suit my needs so I could watch my shows. Because you know I didn't have a VCR to record it. My goodness, I was not into technology, right? But anyhow, my clients would ask me, well, what's going on soap? You know, how does this tie together and that? And I could tell the whole thing. So I guess that was early preliminary training as far as how I do the job I do now. Okay, we have one more before we play our off-planet game. This one's great. How the world works in 2 minutes, see all the corporations taking over everything. And hey, what a cool dance from these two, working in unison. So beautiful. Where's the other one? Y'all know, yeah, you know about the fire. You know about the X-Man. Oh, here it is, here it is, here it is. Okay. Also added this to how the web was woven earlier tonight. And what I like about this is, besides him being an Elvis impersonator, which you have to have an Elvis impersonator at every birthday party, no doubt. I mean, if it's for Elvis. They also mention Steiner. And for those of you that know, I was one of the first big mouths talking about Rudolph Steiner, talk about a controversial subject. I have friends out there amongst the team that have devoted their lives to Steiner, and no doubt they've been talking about him longer than I have. But it was like when I brought up the Steiner connection that they started to see lines being drawn in the sand, and Steiner is very controversial. So in this post, and I am going to play the video, let me direct your attention to the picture that is not Priscilla, because anybody that's seen the wedding pictures, don't tell me you haven't seen it. She's in a maternity gown. They tried to say she was wearing an empire waist, and you can go to Google and search that. And I mean, I know a lot about style anyhow from being a flippin' hairdresser. But you know, an empire waist, let me just set that camera down. Okay, so an empire waist, man, it's cut tight. It has a band underneath the breasts. And then from there it flares out. Now, the wedding picture that y'all have seen a gajillion times, it doesn't have any tight band under the boobs. Good grief. But look at that nice wedding dress that our Scylla, we'll call her Scylla, that'll work, because Priscilla's calling herself Priscilla. Maybe I should call her Scylla. I'll call you Scylla. Okay, so, hey fella and Scylla, that's funny shit. Alright, so, here you see her in a very form-fitted dress. And look at this tall, guy. He has way more pronounced profile with that old schnoz there and that chin. Yeah. I'm gonna have to say our international man of mystery is exactly who's behind this picture. Who else would it be? Here again, I'm not trying to be a pain in your ass. I'm just trying to play Susie Birthday Party with Elvis. Let me X out of that. And we'll open me up just a little bit again. Okay, there we go. Now, let's look at the other picture. Here it is. And of course, there's many versions of this picture. But don't you love the look on that face? And see, that wedding dress there doesn't have any band under the breasts. And I don't mean to ever mock any fashion, because as a hairdresser, I know about all of them. But, you see, my friends, this one wears all that stage makeup and has this hair that looks like a helmet, which very well could be a wig. And there had to be a way to make the transfer. You know, who made who? Which one's the real guy? Are they both real guys and they switch places? I mean, we've seen a million movies about it. It can't be that hard, really. I should not have to explain like this. But I enjoy it, and I'm not walking away from it. So, oh, by the way, okay, so we are live now on YouTube, which is great. And I wanted to tell you the title of tonight's show. I don't know if I typed it into my live stream anywhere. Um, Elvis' 83rd birthday bash. You never go full chanter. I do. So that's a little coded message to my nemesis. And we're not going to tie that into tonight's show because we have too many other things to do. But if you follow this scumbag lawyer that has developed his own religion, you could play the 30 tag question game with him too, because they've been doing their coded messages and think I can't code break them. So when I do go into the CW topic, not on tonight's show, because Elvis wouldn't even want him at his birthday party by any stretch of the imagination, I will be working with this same list and applying it to a plethora of things. So let's get on with our birthday entertainment. This is a 44-second video. It goes very fast. Hey, let me give full credit to this dude before I do. Okay, so Hitler plans to become an Elvis impersonator, published on August 13th, 2010. And it says, Hitler is sick of his life in the bunker and plans to live his lifelong dream of being an Elvis impersonator. This one takes inspiration from Bossy's style of parodies, and it was created with clips from Der Untergang, The Downfall 2004, comedy, standard YouTube license. And if AgeTube83 is offended that I would add this into a birthday celebration of the king, just let me know and I'll take it right out of there. But I think that you just might get a kick out of it. AgeTube83. Steiner. That's right, Steiner. Tag it. I'm going to go back and read this to you. I know it's moving fast. It's too funny. Viva Las Vegas. I don't give a shit. That's awesome. Everybody's an Elvis impersonator. Whatever. Now hang on. We're moving fast. And you guys know what a big subject Hitler is, and who was he, and was he the guy you thought he was, or did he get put into a different place? Okay, so let's go through and read this. Here we go. What do you think you're doing, my Fuhrer? I'm planning to pack up my bags and get out of this shitty bunker. Moving to Las Vegas to pursue my lifelong dream of becoming an Elvis impersonator. Well, when Hitler was around, Elvis was just a toddler. How could that be? Oh, that's right. This is just a parody. It's been my secret passion for many years now. I feel that now is the perfect time to start living my dream lifestyle. Okay. How will you do this, my Fuhrer? Steiner, that would be Dr. Rudolph Steiner, just says I have to make my way to Berlin Airport here. Then just fly an ME 262 to McCarran International Airport and I'll be set. It isn't that easy to just pack up and leave us. Who's going to run this country when you're in Las Vegas? Do we miss one? No, okay. You can be the Fuhrer while I'm gone. But my Fuhrer, this is stupid. We're in the middle of a war. I don't give a shit anymore, Jody. But we're going to be left in chaos. Aw, for fuck's sake, Jody. You're nothing but a bald hound dog crying all the time. It's final. I will fulfill my dream of becoming a great Elvis impersonator. Was that all he says? Okay, so let's roll it out. Here we go. Yep, that's it. Okay. That's great. So this is age Tube 83. Thank you so much for being a part of this birthday party. Oh my goodness. Classic. Okay. So, I got down my Facebook list. Right, now it's time to play the off-planet game. And I talked about Lucifer, so you guys don't have any questions. Now, we need to go over the categories. And so, let me go up here so I can read them to you. I'm not going to give you the entirety of the video, but why should I have to go over it again if I've already prepared this for you? Okay. Let's see. Good evening, you guys. It's me, Suze. We're getting ready for showtime, and I will make it fun. We've got a lot to talk about, and we got JLL in the background, and of course, he's so important in this. I mean, it's hard to focus with that man talking. Hang on a second.
Believe it or not.
I got to turn you down, baby. Okay. Now, like I was saying, we got a game to be played tonight. And I'm going to make a post, a typewritten post, so you'll have that at your disposal if you want to print it out. Ran out of time. Printer. But I thought we'd go over it real quick. And I guess most people call them like hashtags, but I'm going to call them tags. And these are all from my schooling lesson tonight that I'll be discussing with you guys tonight for the birthday party. And believe you me, it all ties in. But we have 30 tags, so I'm going to read them for you real quick. The first one is this town is always up for an encore. Number 2, you give me fever candy. Number 3, moonbeam. Number 4, the truth would have been much more expedient. Number 5, sensational statues. 6, top shelf. 7, best view. 8, great sound system. 9, signed copy of Hamlet to Lucy. Number 10, I'm Lucifer Morningstar and I can play the piano. 11, radishes equals you look ravishing. 12, had to get your glitter on. 13, bluffing and lying are two different things. Number 14, compartmentalizing. 15, high roller or dead meat. Number 16, crack that safe. Number 17, not avoiding or lying, protecting. Number 18, not jealous, just a friend. 19, killer club. 20, musical chair rights by deed possession. 21, who could have known? Number 22, flush killer, trump deed. Number 23, luck, be a lady tonight. Number 24, Vegas. 25, experience, great holes, shrinks, and walls. 26, a killer bartender. 27, no tip for you. 28, truth, bluffs, and never doing that to someone you love. Understanding the Assyrian anti-wall, playing the game. Oops. And you say, Suze, come on. Birthday parties are boring. And I say, well, I can promise you the party I'm bringing is gonna not even be close to boring. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our top 30 tags here, and I want you to know these are all in order from the beginning of the show, which
That's
is
right.
the assignment, through the end, in order. And just to verify that, you guys know me, I'm an extensive note taker. Look at all this stuff. We have 2 of these postcards that had all the tags, and then I also have some other important things about the show that I'll be sharing with you when we go live. This is just me being a good friend and giving you guys a heads up to what's going to happen. So, what we're going to do, and I'm going to make marks like, you know how when you used to tag things off in school? Let me just give you an illustration for anybody that's forgotten. Don't leave me hanging. We're almost done. Don't look at that word. Don't look at that word. Okay. This is what a tag is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, like, let's say you're watching the video of Randy Maugham's interview where him and I are talking and Dinkus is playing the piano. You know, the cat is playing the piano. And we're having a serious conversation. So, let's say that something I say at 10 minutes in makes you think about had to get your glitter on. Well, see, you go to number 12 on your list, and you would make a check mark, and you would write down the time in the video where that got said. And at the end of this whole thing, like when we're figuring out the bigger mysteries of life and this never-ending story, we'll know which one of these tags made the most sense in each subcategory of the complete show. Oh yeah. And so I made a couple videos too for the birthday boy that I'll be playing tonight. So let's say we're watching one of those. And you okay. I'll give you a preview. In one of the videos, we see a very cocky, big smiling, liquored up Elvis behind a bar. So, see, that'd be top shelf, number 6. There's gonna be all sorts of things like that, I promise. So, this is how the game is gonna get played. And, you know, it's funny, when I first started broadcasting, I would always show the Green Knight video, and I'll be showing it tonight. Sean Connery, good looking, mid 40s, covered in green glitter. Talk about fine ass, top shelf, male warrior, right? Don't forget, he's the one that says later on, you find out, he says, you know, you never hit a woman with your fist. You hit her with the back of your hand. Right. Oh, that really burst my bubble on Sean Connery, because I'll tell you what, anybody thinks they're going to hit me, I don't even know what to say. I don't care how good looking you are, how much game you got, or how big your junk is, right? That's right. But anyhow, fucking we'll see what I bring for the show, and I do have some more preparation. Now, I want you to know, I'm going to be having 2 outfits for this birthday party because it's so fucking special. Oh my gosh, it's already 9:30? Stop, share. Huh. Alright, so my big show is going to start at 9:50 because we need to find out if I must be behind the screen. See, I don't panic anymore. There I am. That's awesome. Okay, and we'll pull that out. And we got our list. You can see the whole shot. Okay, so don't ever go full Chanter. God forbid. And of course, when you're dealing with these forces online that are just about creating chaos, you gotta go back to the beginning on the story and say, Suze, how does this tie in? I mean, you make no sense. You run from place to place. Oh, maybe I should put myself in the place so I'm not running. Let me just scoot back a little bit. Get my chocolate. Got my tea. Probably should get my dad's glass cock too, shouldn't I? Okay. Now, seriously, y'all. Let's go over the timeline. At the end of December was the second interview that I did with Randy Moggins, Off Planet Media. The subject is life charting, charting the human life, dealing with your false ego, working through your trauma, telling your story. See, this had never been done before I came online because all of the people that were top-notch in the industry were raised in the box that you never mix your personal and professional life. That's not professional. Well, see that? Somebody better get the memo out there that that is professional. Being true on who you are across the board. Talk to Gerald Salente, Right Livelihood. That's what we're talking about. And so you see in this story, you got me winding up being interviewed for the first time ever by one of the greatest men on this media platform. And nobody gives a shit that I'm nervous or that, I've never done this before. They find it best to mock me. Not Randy and his friends. We're talking about, CW and his blowhole friends. The international group of people that don't like life. Let's just put it that way. So anyhow, I'm involved in this nightmare for 2016. And the first time I come across Chanter is when Mel and Z, who had hooked up on CCN, decided it'd be wise to bring Chanter on. And, I feel sorry for anybody that's fool enough to be the patsy, and we've already talked about the patsy tonight. So think of CW as a patsy in a Ponzi scheme. Let's just start there. So, you see, he's there with them in the works, quietly, from the end of February through the summertime, because Z came online with the buffoons in the summer. That was the same time Randy was being attacked for bringing out the truth about someone that was second in command at the Children of God cult that handled the, promotion, the advertising, all the things the great Mel V does now for, whether it's somebody a million years ago like Sasha Stone. Oh, you think I didn't know about that, huh? Or now, with the whole African saga, she's the international fucking whoop-de-doo to King whoever the fuck he is that nobody is going to acknowledge. And, this is all about your sovereignty and your freedom. No, it's not. But anyhow. So, once CW makes his big appearance, you see on CCN, on Z's show, and they talk shit, well, that puts CW in the magic Zoom room that they were using the free app, remember, talking shit and spellcasting and telling stories and deciding whose voice would be silenced. That'd be that little orange pumpkin with no face, remember? Didn't make it onto the wagon. This is how CW explained his, spiritual talk with God. And this little pumpkin had no face, and, he thought, well, what do? Smash it, put it out of its misery? Or just kind of cocoon it, like turn it into a gourd. Yeah, good luck to you on that one. So, anyhow, ever since, they've been telling this bullshit story. And poor CW, man. He got got caught holding the bag. I mean, Z was put to the outside of the camp, never allowed to speak again for his bad behavior, which is all documented and already been taken into this whole story. Trust me. And then you got Mel and Biggie on the run, becoming fugitives after they try to tell the story about being maliciously attacked in their studios, which was their apartment. See, that was all a cover story, the shiny bauble, so nobody would focus on them hacking me. Oh yeah, I know CW knows about that. So, in the meantime, CW's the big boss of this group. He's the patsy. And this Commonwealth chanting thing, which is, what he's all about, see? Now that's all broke out into a major war, and people that used to chant said fuck chanting, and, other people are leaving to go over to the other dude's channel, which is way more of a man. The dude that wears makeup is more of a man than the man that has a religion for you. And we'll talk about that, but that's not neither here nor there for Elvis's birthday party, is it? I'm just trying to set up the story so we can play the game, because we need to win. And this is the week that is in preparation for the big event that's going to be pulled off. And for anybody crying about it, keep in mind, the very people like CW, Z, Mel and Biggie, and a host of other people were the first to do the spellcasting, the first to do harm, the first to be in it for the money, the first to be in it for Lucian people's energy. So the reason I bring him in, too, is because he does fit right in to a birthday party for a man that has been through the same experiences that I've been, even though I'm nobody, and he's somebody. But he thinks I'm somebody, so anybody that thinks I'm nobody can fucking blow me sideways. I could care less. Okay. So, Here we are at our game. And, of course, like I said, on an upcoming show, we will apply these game pieces and this strategy to doing what we're doing. And keep in mind that just the other night, CW said, I better take down some of my videos because they don't put me in a very good light. Maybe I should edit them. Hey, maybe the guy with makeup should take his video down because, Boo Boo Kitty Chanter got his feelings hurt. Hey, I want you to know this is all childish. This is the kid that at the birthday party, pulled the chair out from under the guest of honor, tied somebody's shoes together, or pulled on somebody's pigtails. And as far as that goes, you pulled on the wrong bitch's pigtails. Just like they all know with this Elvis thing. If you think somebody did it just to hurt me, there's no way. It's been too full of love. I've been too protected. So, I highly doubt, here again, that I could really go full-blown Chanter because I don't know that kind of behavior. Kind of like the other day, I got a new client. And talk about a nightmare and a psychological drama from hell. Okay? But it reminded me a lot of him because the way the setup happens, especially if you're kind to someone, we'll see, now they have another reason to come at you. But I'll tell you what, if you seek someone out, which is what CW did to me, as well as what this gal did to me, and then you mock the very skill I bring, see, I can refuse service to anyone, and I surely refuse to service CW Chanter by speaking to him in a place where he can pull out his boogie boogie or his little penis. Like he threatened to do on the last show, a few shows back. I watch every one. I got postcards. I keep these little cards, I write it down. Kind of like the game. See? That's why people take me seriously. So, let's get on with the game. Remember, the reason I brought this up is because all of 2016 was involved in this deviant battle that was cast out. And I broke free at the end of August, and they never knew what was going to hit them. And from there, by 2017, poor CW was holding the bag. And now we're at the end of that year, and we're already in this new year, but throughout that time, while I was busy on serious work, they found it all prudent to talk about me in coded message. And remember, if you speak the name of the person, the game's over. And of course, he's too big of a puss to speak the name. And he already knows the game is over. And like any good party, you gotta say na-na boo-boo to the fucking bully that you had to invite because their mom asked you or something? Puh. No, I don't think so. Alright, so let's get on with Mr. Moggins. And I'm going to set this story up for you. I don't want to bore you by any stretch. I think that everybody's going to enjoy this. But what happened with me was that I was trying to live stream from the library, which is on the second floor. You know, down here, the big yellow house, you're on the first floor. I wanted to expand my horizons. And I was working with the opposite of Apple, whatever that one is. And they were battling each other, and I didn't know how to turn the camera around. So we're going a half hour into this show because
It's not gonna end.
because it's just terrible. I mean, while I'm really trying to do what I need to do, and I'm sweating and I'm nervous, and I know what's on the line, and I know how serious it is, and yakety yak. But what did I say? I think that we need to get to right where I'm downstairs. So what's happened is I have switched from the upstairs and I'm heading downstairs. So we're going to go 25 minutes into my second interview with a man that I, like I said, respect tremendously. And from now on, when I refer to Randy in this story in my own mind, I'm looking at him. He talked about it in one of his interviews, actually. You know, like you talk about who you might have been, you know, in a different, what we call lifetime, or on a different parallel universe or whatnot. And he would have been the priest that had to take somebody to the sacrifice. So imagine if I already knew I came online to be sacrificed or to be crucified for having to speak the story I had to tell. And then you got Mr. Slick Dude coming in and saying, hey, Suze, let me interview you. And a week later, getting asked by Mel V, you know, to broadcast on her dopey, fucked up international television network that's really just a YouTube channel or a Facebook channel or whatever. These people just play games. It's all about your intent. So don't mock someone that's serious when they believe and create something that is a global network that could very well replace the TV. I can't wait for that day, anyhow, Randy, where it just goes bzzz. All programming has been redirected. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get into the show, and I hope you guys have got your list from 1 to 30. Remember, just make little check marks, and I'll stop here and there and talk, but we're going to turn it over to Randy Moggins, and this was called Off Planet TV 12/30/15, the year that is, was, and Suze Pratt. Hey, this one gal says that I kind of remind her of Lady Gaga, but in a really good way. And then this gal, Tracy Ann Smith. Now see, this is the kind of shill, troll, bot, fake profile, got some fake ass picture, and here's what she said. So let's check this out. She's probably CW's friend. Fantastic example of spiritual ineptitude, Suze. Sister, your biggest worry was not being prepared, and that's just what happened. And you just didn't want it to be you. You created an awkward and scattered opening to your sharing because you aren't aware of and don't recognize the divine metaphysical law of identical harvest. What we imagine, which is what you said you did all day regarding the podcast, and what we think, say, manifest. Right, bitch. Because I had never done a live stream with that computer before, and I was completely computer illiterate, but you want to call me fucking spiritually retarded? And you got a fucking retarded face, you know? See, and it goes on. I mean, and she goes off on me big. Did she give a shit that I had only been online under 2 years? Or that that was my second show? No. She could care less. And I would like to type in here blow me sideways, but I don't have time. And so, um, last but not least, Ravina972 said, love this episode, and the cat has amazing timing on the piano. But seriously, I love Randy and Sue's. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
You know, I've often heard people say, well, that wasn't very professional of you. Well,
Right.
you know, screw that. I'm not a professional anyway. I know what that term means. I don't want to be a professional. This is alternative media. It's real. It's real people. You know, we're not sitting in CNN's $3.5 million studio with a bunch of poofy faced people with makeup cans and stuff. This is real shit here. So, you know, people come in, they set up, they've got computers. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the bandwidth doesn't work. I mean, there's a multitude of things to fail, and believe me, you do this long enough, and you will not only go through the whole list of them, you invent new ones. That's what we do. Bigger and better crashes. I love it. Sue's welcome.
Bless your heart, thank you. It
I
says
am I'm feeling like, yeah, I feel like maybe a 12-year-old in the back of the room throwing spitballs tonight.
they say I have a lot of CPU usage going on.
High CPU usage.
Whatever that is, right?
Yeah. Well, that means you're busting the clock cycles.
Well, you know what else, Randy, is I also cannot wear a watch. I stop watches. I have a very high electrical voltage, and that is the supposed to speak.
Nice. Can we get more of that? That's, folks, live cat piano playing. It doesn't get any better. This is
Right.
up for the TV, you know.
Well, it is, and you know, of course, the animals and the earth and Mother Gaia and the whole cosmos is now united.
Cats really are alien beings. They're not really from this planet anyway. They know it. They've got
Oh,
an
yeah.
advantage on us. They know
Well,
what that is.
you know, that's the thing, and it's so hard to start with this because we have so much to say about life charting, but we have some pretty other important stuff that is now strewn all over the floor.
Oh, I know. That's I came in and dumped the whole toy box. I'm like my 3-year-old grandkid. I just dumped a whole bunch of toys on the floor. I'm like, here, play with this.
Well, you know, we had discussed the entire idea that every one of us individually has suffered emotionally every traumatic thing that has happened on the planet. And recently, just today, I watched Courtney Brown's disclosure on Atlantis.
Yeah.
And did you see it yet?
Well, I don't know what version of it you saw. I did that show with Courtney Brown in 2012 or 2013.
This is
That's
one
right.
basically where they are confirming spirit about how Atlantis was destroyed. So let's talk about business for a minute. Here we are in the most corrupt society that does not allow for what is called right livelihood business, which is where you need to do something good for the individual or for the community or for the world in
What I
general.
was talking about in my little rant at the beginning of the show, basically. Yeah.
Which I
That was
did.
actually a really good way to put it. I like that term, by the way.
Okay, so well that comes from Gerald Salente,
Yes.
founder of the Trends Research Institute.
I love Gerald.
Yes.
So, what happened back then? We have, by Australia, a community that was living, working, you know, societal stuff. And then over by the Antarctic, we have another base that was basically military, industrial, the technical stuff, the computers. And they say that we're where we sit now technologically 100 years inferior to where the Atlanteans were when they went down. Now,
Yeah.
what they did was, besides misusing the power of crystals, which we've spoken about and I'm full of, they also did something that looks just like fracking, and the remote viewers saw that. So basically what happened was, over on the Antarctica side, they knew they screwed up, just like they're doing now. They lied about the whole thing. And when the shit was going to hit the fan, they had 5 hours to let everybody know what was going to happen to them. And so basically, childbearing age women were put onto boats. The men were the ones that drove the boats, and then of course sired the children. And they say that we
Drove
all
the
come
boat.
from 2,000 pairs of people that repopulated after Atlantis. But what the bottom line is, for them to know that they were going to destroy the planet, and then if we have this collective memory, and you see monkey do, and these people are doing it again. And now, right now, most of Missouri is flooding. I'm high on a hill.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so if you have this happening in Missouri, and we know there's fracking below us, and then you also have California's tragedies, God bless them.
The methane, yes, the methane gas leak, massive leak.
And that was the same thing on Atlantis, Randy. They said that when they did that fracking, that the methane gas, oh, guess what? That's where the black goo comes from.
Yeah.
Yippee, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, one thing I would like to say too, and just stop me if I say too much, because it's gonna start jumping out.
No, really?
I've had to tell my clients over the last 3 days to pull their extra cash out of the bank. I've had to tell my clients to have at least 2 weeks of food and water, and that's including the animals too. I mean, it's your entire thing. And fortunately, we were sent a link, or I'm sorry, a blog, because you know I don't even know these technical terms, but a blog where this brilliant woman gives you a form letter. So what you're supposed to do is fill out your banking information, you're supposed to sign it, you're supposed to send it certified mail to the president of the bank and to the secretary of the bank. Now, I saw this yesterday. I sent it to you today. Tomorrow the banks are open till noon. Tomorrow is the last day of this year.
Last day of the Babylonian money systems bookkeeping year. Yeah.
Right. So, theoretically, if we can pull this paperwork off, the money that would be in the bank, whether it's electronic transfer checks, which I don't participate in, or any other kind of feed into the bank, they have to respect that as a legal tender. Theoretically, if you have that paperwork in. Now, in the last week, I have had so many things happen, and last Tuesday, I was getting ready for work, I was upstairs, and what do I see happen? A cop pulls up on the street going the wrong way, blocks the driveway of my neighbor and myself. Keep in mind, my neighbors both work for the city, and they're dirty as they come. These cops got out of their car with their hands on their holsters. You know my dad was a cop. Did I ever tell you that yet? I was raised by a cop.
Okay. No, I don't remember you saying that. Good.
Yeah. So anyhow, hands on their holsters, walked down my driveway, and were in the backyard. And they were pointing at things on the ground. So they were pointing at siding, they were pointing at some wood, and you know, if they were looking for a bad guy, you think they'd look behind the garage, or behind a truck, or behind a rock, or whatever, but they were nitpicking. checking our premises. And of course I was nervous because I know what's going on. If I was just a fool, maybe I'd answer the door, which would be insane because we all know why. So, as they were coming back up the driveway, they started banging on my door like maybe they wanted to come get me. And my whole life, people have told me I am bad, I am wrong, I am paranoid. And, of course, and Biggie knows, and I know that they're monitoring me. I don't have a secret to hide. Bring.
Okay. So, we're leaving off on, I know they're monitoring me. I don't have a secret to hide. So, what I'm going to do is we're at 35:25. And I have just written down that time next to number 22, flush killer, Trump deed. Now, I wouldn't expect that any of you guys wrote that time down with that thing, and that doesn't make it right or wrong. I have an advantage in this game because I've already been through it. You guys really don't know, nor can you believe what I've been through, and that's okay. So, at this point, I am going to read to you the words that I wrote times by. I'm not going to go into explanation. I'm just going to tease you with the game. So, we have moonbeam, number 3. We have number 4. The truth would have been much more expedient. We have number 10. I'm Lucifer Morningstar and I can play the piano. We have number 14. Compartmentalizing. I don't know if I mentioned that the piano one was number 10, so I'll say that real quick. And then we have Killer Club, number 19. We have number 22, Flush Killer, Trump Deed. Oh, I just mentioned that. That was when we cut the time. Okay. And then the last one is Understanding the Assyrian Anti-Wall. And of course, playing the game, if I didn't have a million things going on, I would have probably made a few slash marks there because this is all about playing the game. And Randy knew that from the go. And he couldn't really tell me like that because, I'll put it to you this way, no one has been allowed to speak to me or give me any intel via way of a messenger, an email, or a phone call. And at this time, back in 2015, I had 1 or 2 conversations on the telephone with Randy, and that was to get things set up for the show. And what I have to think about is how I also talked about, it seems like each of the people that have been so important, I would say, on this Gaia navigation experiment, I've been able to be one-on-one with them, connected heart-brain, telekinetically, however you want to say it, for about 2 months. And then, it's like a square dance. You get a new partner to dance with, and you learn a little bit about them, and I guess feel them out. Not in a nasty manner, in a who are they manner. And so Randy had been my 5th or 6th subscriber on my YouTube channel, and Randy watches and knows what's going on. So, and people like our gal that went off on me or, you know, Mr. Religion, C.W. Chanter. See, those people were all privy to the beginning negative gossip, um, that I was some kind of an artificial intelligence or a data hacker or some kind of a person that was not portraying myself in a truthful light because I couldn't understand how I do what I do. And I'm not responsible for that. I'm only responsible for understanding myself. And that is the concept behind life charting, thus the reason for the show and the accelerated uh, cult, cult boot camp that I endured and was able to bring out, let's say, top secret information that nobody else could have brought out because nobody else was in the Zoom room in Journalism Academy. And hey, while we're at it, I mean, I know it's Elvis's party, but um, something we want to bring up to our community of brave warriors. Where did Elise Diavalon go? Mel hasn't mentioned a peep about her no longer being around, and they ripped her off for more than me. So, it's not that I'm trying to defend her, but here again, when you got bullies throwing cake and pulling chairs out from under people at birthday parties, hey, it's gonna get brought up. Okay, let's get back to Randy because we got a talk to go through.
Measure anything you gotta do because I'm telling the truth. And this is essential for people to get a grip on. And you know what?
Oh, wait, let me cut myself off. Why it's essential for people to get a grip on this is because, here again, they're traumatized from this Elvis story. And I've been busting it wide open. And my buddy Randy Moggins specifically told me that he really digs this story. And believe me, if I was going down the wrong tunnel, he would have told me to jump off of it because he's done it in the past. So, I'm going to believe, like I said, that my co host for this party, the International Man of Mystery, Mr. AP number one, Adam, knows the Emperor, Randy Moggins, aka the guy that had to deliver the goods to where it needed to be, to do the deal, to work the thing, right? And that's why we tie it all in together, because in the end, these dudes know each other.
I even got it on videotape. Have some of that. So, when it comes time, and I know they'll come, they're gonna come for people's weapons. My dad was a policeman, so even if I didn't have a weapon, they would have probable cause to break my door down. Let's say that I was doing something that I feel is morally and ethically correct, but they feel is illegal. Well, now we lose everything too. And since I've been targeted from the time I was young, um, you can hear sirens in the back.
I do, yeah.
Right. So, if I've been targeted this long and survived, and now I know why I've survived, and I know what my job is.
Wow, what was that?
That's the cat.
Playing piano.
Yes. Would you like to see? You want me to turn the camera?
No, it's okay, just...
Right, he's terrified. I'm terrified.
I'm on and off.
Have another computer problem.
So back to the story, okay? Joe and I, when we came together, because I have to tell the story, I am the whore and the virgin. I am the honored and the scorned. And it's not just because I'm a woman. You negotiating with people. That is a woman's masculine side. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. Don't worry.
Okay. So, it's hard not to see you again. I missed that. It wasn't, thank you. It wasn't until that I confessed my love for Joe that I was able to come into my feminine side, because I was able to unconditionally love someone that I knew every dirty, rotten thing about. She's never done this much. I think this. Knock it off, babies.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Dinka's right, the piano playing cat. And what we're going to talk about now, real quick. So, I come online, I tell all these things that people don't want to hear, piss them off because they've never had the experience. And I get courted online ever from the beginning, September 1st, 2014. A lot of people think I'm flirting with Randy because my boobs are hanging out. This is how I've always dressed. I'll let my boobs hang out whenever I want, and that doesn't mean I'm flirting with somebody. That means I'm comfortable with myself. I'm comfortable with my shortcomings. I'm comfortable with my aging process. I'm comfortable in my skin. Okay? Now, in the beginning, when this energy started interacting with me, oh yeah, it came in the form of all sorts of different, let's say, alleged men that would be flirting with me. And of course, now you find, of course, these days, and we won't go over this in tonight's show, but a lot of people impersonate people, and you hear on the internet that somebody falls in love with somebody they've never seen, and you find out they're actually not even a real human, or whatever, you know. Nightmare, right? And I was never into that anyhow. But I think from the go, and now I'm going to use the word Mr. Computer Head for someone high up enough to be able to control what's going on in my world online. You know, that energy is wondering, I mean, is this bitch for real? Does she really, like, believe this story about this dead guy under an overpass that has the same DNA as Elvis? And I'm thinking, yeah, for real. I mean, there was stories forever that Jesse really didn't die and get buried in a shoebox. Come on. So, you know, I'm always going to believe people. And then when I find out that they've deceived me, if it is not for the reason of number 17, which would be not avoiding or lying, protecting. So let's take the opposite of that. And keep in mind with this that you can really see why someone would need to investigate me to see if what I was saying was true. And it wouldn't just be by looking at me or hearing me talk. It would be by very specific technological data bits that could be collected. So, like I've told you before, I'm going to say the international man of mystery is Mr. Computer Head. And I believe him and the Emperor, as well as the Shaman, JLL, and the paranormal, supernatural head honcho, knows the most about all that, Courtney Brown, and all of them. They all had a part. And I didn't really know that at first because I really didn't know what my job was, even though I had a damn good idea. And it was a few months ago that they told me that even myself isn't fully awake yet. And I thought, shit, man, as awake as I am, it's driving people nuts. They want to put me permanently to sleep with soma or um, bleed me white. I mean, they don't want to hear what my awake ass has seen. So that's a little, um, I thought it was interesting. I thought I should bring it up right now. And in the meantime, I will let you know that I tagged time for number 25, which is experience, great holes, shrinks, and walls. Anything else? Not jealous, just a friend, number 18. Because, see, we go back to the SKMI thing and the Elvis thing and even the Robert Woods thing, the famous actor, the spaghetti western actor. Um, at first they were making fun saying that I had a crush on Elvis. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? I mean, it really can't be about the interpersonal relationship. And all of a sudden, here now, I'm a big hose bag because I'm going to honestly admit that I can love multiple people, really, and that I can even love someone that has not shown himself to me in the physical and said, hey, Suze, here I am. Now, this is okay. And I've been honest with everybody. And if you think about it, get your mind out of the gutter with the human men in my life and think about something else. So, you're supposed to be true to this person that you marry, and death is going to part you. And at the same time, you are actually waiting for your bridegroom, which would be this thing you call God. Because at the time of your transition out of your physicality, you're getting married to him. So, if you think about it, here again, now, besides all the people that have been traumatized, or the military side of Elvis, now we get into the four faces of God, y'all. And um, I like to refer to Elvis as a Highlander. So I'll just leave it at that, and hopefully you guys have seen Highlander. And then you'd realize that the Preseli Mountains are the name of Press or Presley goes back to AD 454. And that's why I say, I promise you there's been more than one Elvis, and they love to say, the traumatized do, oh, there's only one voice like that. Well, bullshit. Because if you're born in that lineage, I'll bet you that you got a voice just like that that keeps carrying through the lineage. Kind of like, even though my voice doesn't sound, I'm sure, like my grandpa's or my dad's or Graham's or any of them, you see, I carry on their voice. I do the same things they do. I have a similar mission that is bonded um, to a spiritual family that I haven't really got to meet in this lifetime yet. So, in all those reasons, when I tell you that I do have a relationship in my heart with the Presley family, I will stand and be confident and noble when I say that. I have a relationship with everybody I choose to have a relationship with that seeks me out. Let's continue.
She's just tuning up.
So, back to balancing our masculine and feminine sides. The only time a man gets to be in his feminine stance is when he is in his own home and he is nurturing, and he is receptive. So right now, and believe me, I know that you are completely all man, but you are in your receptive female place right now, and you're safe, and you're able to communicate.
Look at him
And so
smile like he
it's
don't
easy for
know.
a woman to be feminine when she's in her own home, receptive and welcoming. So, I kind of got trailed off,
You
but
did, but it was
a little
good.
bit. Oh, because
Well, let me just say this. Okay, because this is a conversation I had this weekend. I talked earlier about some of the conversations I have in the background. And they're always the ones that I kind of go, I wish we recorded that. But it was a conversation I had with two friends of mine out in Washington State, and the realization that we were coming to, that it was the rediscovery of the sacred feminine that was to bring about the healing of the wounded male. In other words, you had the suppressed feminine, but at the same time you had the wounded male, which is the cause of wars and violence on the planet. Those spirits have been brutalized, victimized, sodomized, and bastardized for tens of thousands of years, and as a result of that, we have this imbalance that's ongoing, which is violence against women, violence against men, violence against children, which
violence against
is
children.
of all of this.
Right, right. It has to be put to bed, so to speak. So
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah.
right.
It even
So
goes back to the police officer thing as well, because the military and the police, you know, and this was actually, I had a list of things that was like my riff list for tonight that I was going to talk about, and one of them had to do with the fact that aside from reaching out to business people, which I think you agree with, we also have to have an ongoing outreach to police and military. Many of the people in police and military are actually decent people.
yes, they are.
Some of them are damaged, and they have a power trip going largely because of things that happened to them as well. And I can say that because I've known military and police people most of my life, and they're also phenomenally decent people among them. Some of them, by the way, we need. We need
Right.
people on our side. But, you know, again, the imbalance of power is coming because of the abusive system that we have all been raised in, this cauldron of just ongoing aggression and mind control and trauma.
I heard something the other day that is a beautiful thing. And this, I believe, came from Liberty Beacon. That 70% of the military and 70% of the coppers are really good people.
This is great.
Yes, and they are ready at a moment's notice to dethrone the schmucks.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, there are. And I can tell you that based on, again, conversations in the background, that they aren't so hidden, that there are, in fact, a lot of people ready to stand up right now. The military itself, the real military, not the quislings inside of the Pentagon,
Right.
have been basically transmitting the message for a while now, basically through the militia and their emissaries, and saying that the American people need to express their will. It is for much the same reason the off-worlders have said, you know, we will help you when the appropriate time comes, but it has been hands off. Obviously, negative side of that is that we have had negative VT encounters ongoing for a very long time. Some of that's been scaled back as well. Again, to the listeners, offplanetradio.com this weekend, I will be releasing a new interview with Ariana Love, and we're going to talk about some of the ET issues that go into this as well. But I say all that to say that we are at critical mass right now. We are sitting on the line of decision, and we need to approach all of this from the most expansive reservoir of love and humanity that we can summon. We need to stop the divisions. We need to stop the mind games. We need to stop the ego tripping and power tripping. And we need to get people together on a common page, which is we have a short window of time this year, 2016, to get this done.
And we kicked ass, Randy.
I think you're going to be able to help me with this. In 1987, when I had my oldest daughter, when I got pregnant, which I take responsibility for, my ex told me to terminate her because we were just casual, you know? And I wanted to do the right thing, and I loved him as good as I could. And I got on that table, Randy, because that's where he took me. He drove me there. And God told me to get off the table. And I did, and I told him, screw you. I'll have this baby with you or without you. That's my opening story. And so I can remember crying when I was pregnant because even as a young woman, I knew this time was coming. And I had dreams about it throughout my childhood.
Yeah.
So if we get in far enough to the life charting tonight, I'll be able to expose it and flip through some pictures and do my thing, and I think I'm ready to go. But the point is that I spent my 30s talking about rapture and revelations. I lost Stylist because they were terrified of what I was saying. I really offended a lot of people's spirits. And when we talked about shattering reality, and we made a joke about that last time, that's very serious. So that's going to be part of our equation. In 1987, they say that as the vibration on the planet went up, that we took in 10 times more information than we did in 1986. Let's just start there. And this was a big scientific study at the time. Each decade, it'd be the 10 times 10. And so, if you can explain that, like as a hairdresser, I explained the pH of 9 is 10 times greater than the pH of 10. That, you know, that story?
Yeah, well, that's just chemistry. Yeah, right.
Right, okay, so if we take that back into the human being and understand or understand that we're taking in however many hundreds or thousands more bits of data, but over here you still have someone that is traumatized from not just their memories in this lifetime, but the continual evolution of their soul in and out of form. And if you remember just one traumatic thing from each lifetime, and then you come in and you add all that to that, that's why the people aren't able to function. And back to the police thing. When I did that YouTube about Mike Brown, because they murdered Mike Brown, I'm sorry. I know exactly what happened, and I detailed the whole thing, and that's what started the end of me in this town. I was not supposed to speak, and I did. So our listeners need to really take it to heart that these military people and these police people that have been weakened, whether it's with medication or microwave technology or cell phone stuff, or just not embracing all of their fourfold body, you know, whatever it is. They're being manipulated by the same kind of, you know, on the big military trucks where they put the satellite. And so it comes from the satellite down to the one on top of the army truck. And you could have a group of peaceful protesters and aim this thing. And the next thing you know, they all want to kill each other.
Yeah, it's basically psychotronic weaponry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And they're using that all the time, by the way. And that Let me dog leg off a minute just so we can bookmark
Please.
them.
Please.
Is that the psychotronic weaponry is an aspect of a higher technology that's been embedded into the earth for a very long time as a result of alien technology, something that I guess a lot of people are still grappling with.
Well,
Because of frequencies used to trigger violent behavior. This is even recorded in the Bible, where armies destroyed themselves, where where energetic bolts came out of the sky and armies were destroyed, and they turned around and they destroyed each other. This is all part of matrix weaponry that has been deployed against humanity. So move from there. I just wanted to put that in there as part of the narrative.
well, here's what I'd like to put in on that. Because, I've been speaking to people all my days. Until I came on this computer, I never really talked about the alien thing. When I was pulled in and I met Courtney Brown and the remote viewing people in 2014, about 2 months in, I started to realize that maybe those couple of years that I lost, more things happened to me than what I assumed. So I told you that I was almost shot. And what happened, because my parents were just ignorant, okay? My mom and dad left me with a general's wife, a Chinese woman that couldn't speak any English. And when I was a kid, I played that game where you close your eyes and you spin around 3 times and you start walking. I was at Scott Air Force Base, and I was walking through a tall field of grass. I was 5 years old. The grass was probably up to my chest. I was scared. I didn't know where I was. I came to a clearing, and where I was the berm behind where the targets are. And I'm sure you've been to a firing range. They say ready on the left, ready on the right, ready on the firing line. And when they went to turn the targets, I heard a voice scream out, and it said, "There's a kid back there." And my dad came running out, and he told me what a bad kid I was for being out there. Now, my dad was a simple man. He was an Aries. He was a child at heart. And the last 6 years of his life, we took care of him because he had had a bunch of mini strokes and he was living by himself and everything. And so one of the hardest things I had to do was explain to my father that I wasn't a bad kid for doing that. They weren't doing their parenting job. And he accepted that. I got one more story, if I can tell it real quick on that. My mom couldn't love my dad because she couldn't love herself. And we can go into all sorts of stories about that. My mom always wanted to get away from my dad. When my mom got older, she had a major heart attack, and she was in the hospital, and my dad was so naive. He was holding her hand and thinking that maybe she loved him, so they could bond. And he went to go to the bathroom. And my mom hit that nurse's button and said, "I claim my HIPAA rights. That man is crazy. He has a gun. I want him out of here." My dad slept with a gun. You know what I mean? Cops always wear guns on their bodies. So that was how my mom got away from my dad. And at the end of my mom's life, believe it or not, Joe and I went and we blessed her, and we worked with Bach essence, and we gave her a crystal, and she passed. So my job throughout my life has been telling the hard stories, whether it's about what someone's going to experience. And I always bought into that old story that when we pass out of our physical bodies, our loved ones meet us. We go to the party, we go through the white light, whatever, and then we judge ourselves. Because there is no God that is going to judge and condemn and burn in a lake of fire because you came here one time and screwed it up. Absolutely not. So, what I've learned recently is really sickening, and I don't want to upset anyone, but I do have to speak this. What these son of a guns have been doing is recycling souls. So, I always asked, okay, let's say that me and you's been friends for 10 years, and I've been talking. And all of a sudden, one day, they come in, and they forgot what I told them. And of course, I think everybody should listen when I tell them something. You know, I'm very passionate. And they honest to God don't remember. Now I know why. So, if any of us cannot achieve 51% love and light, then we get recycled. No rest, no party, no reevaluation, no asking the angels what you want to give back to God, none of it. So these people
No birthday party, huh?
come kind of half retarded. And then look how easy it is. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's not fair that and I know life isn't fair, but God is. And God is love and light and everything divine. That's why it's so important this time that people at least get themselves to the place where they can retain their soul and get some development out of it, no matter what happens. Whether this world goes underwater, or whether there's a big explosion, or whether they drop some poison out of the sky. If we're vibrating where we need to be, and we know who we are, this is where the multidimensional reality comes in. So, they say that when people pass, they don't even experience pain. It's an illusion, because you go from one form to another. What if, whatever happens, we actually do have these multidimensional realities, which have been verified now easy? I mean, look at the new X-Files thing. They've already got a dozen scripts or so
Right,
written.
Randy.
So whatever happens
X-Files
in the real
tag.
world,
I'm on it.
they can help people with it on TV. I mean, that's pretty cool, and I think it does give us something to work with. There will be some people that don't want to stay in physical form. That's okay. But this world is not going to end. We will stay in some kind of a form. And I believe in the wipe of a hand that everything could be okay. And the only reason I believe it is because ever since I got hooked up with y'all on the computer, okay, I've been having to tell people this. Either from the time I got on, the artificial intelligence wanted me so bad because I'm so full of emotion, I have a high electrical charge, I'm good to go, you know, I'd be great. And then they could build some kind of humanoid that would have emotion. Or that from the time I got on, and you guys were already doing your job long before I walked on the deal. we had some kind of a unification thing, which is what I've been stating loud and clear for 17 months. And that the work that all of you guys are doing, I mean, not just the on air people, you know, we really are able to change what is happening. So, in my kooky mind, come tomorrow, what we do tonight will bear some kind of fruit. We're that short on time.
I first off don't see this world being destroyed.
Neither do I.
I do see all the attempts that have been made to terraform it and to change the biological forms on the planet.
Right.
And that has actually been mitigated as well. That's one of the things that I believe the off-worlders have done.
Right.
That's the cycles that we've been stuck in, which are karma, which are not natural to us. We are eternal beings and we do experience life incarnations, but the looping of souls has been ongoing for, it's hard to put time on it because outside of this realm, time is irrelevant anyway. But certainly there's been a hijacking of souls. There has been trauma inflicted on souls between lives in what you would call Bardo. And for a good view of this, by the way, listeners, there's an excellent book out there, Dr. Michael Newton. It's called The Journey of Souls, and it is his journal of hypnosis sessions with hundreds of patients in past life and reincarnation experiences. And it's very telling as to informing what we're talking about tonight because under hypnosis, patients revealed some spectacular things about what goes on after life, between lives, even beings who are allowed to go into other worlds and beings who are allowed to go to different levels of evolvement to a point where they actually are allowed to begin playing with even creating stars and things like that. Pretty interesting stuff. I mean, we look at this life and because we're so attenuated to the earth frequency and the fact that we're rooted in this body that we walk around in, the earth suit, we don't really imagine the worlds and realms that lie beyond us here in terms of experience or what we've been through in previous life cycles as well. Which kind of, I guess even goes into the life charting thing, which, we do want to get into.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me write the time down on this and I'll tell you why in just a minute. 103:33. Okay, so at 53 minutes in and 40 seconds, I tagged number 15, high roller or dead meat. So now I'm giving you a working example of specifically, boy, that's a terrible shot I left us on. Hang on. Has better. Okay, so anyhow, you get how the conversation that we're having dependent on how you feel about the reality of this, because believe me, you do create your own reality with your thoughts, and that's Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton. Either you're going to be a high roller or you're going to be dead meat. So now you see why I tagged that to that. Now, this show has been running, we're at 2 hours and 25 minutes, and we're not going to go through the live charting for the birthday because maybe that'll be my birthday present to Elvis next year. Is actually, and it would take me a year, it really would, to put all the information into a life chart for his number one guy or gal or for the family or, just just because I love them and I want to. But what I want to bring up too, that was very interesting, in that last run of information, I actually started tagging words with the time. And we have a lot of things going on at once. So let me give you another example of how the game plays on number 19, Killer Club. And the first time I tagged that was 34 minutes in, but when the words started flowing was when Killer Club was tagged for the second time. And the words I wrote were Hegelian dialect, hagiography, whitewashing, compartmentalizing, and psychological weaponry. Now, as we develop this, because we're actually creating, like Randy's talking about, we're doing serious work here that goes into eternity. So when I come back on this, I very well may have expanded concepts or whatnot. And we also had that pop up, that same phenomena on number 6, top shelf. And I wrote down alien technology, matrix, I'm not sure about that word right now, but you get it, the matrix program, remote viewing, and the whole alien concept. Then also number 1, this town is an encore. At 50 minutes in, I wrote down cycles, slow kill, aliens with a question mark, and Scott Air Force Base. Okay. So, one more thing I'll bring up, because I wrote words. We're going to play this game fair. Number 27, no tip for you. And I tagged that at 4630. Wrote down chemistry and Hegelian dialect again. Okay, let's finish this up because you know the birthday boy is probably sleeping in his easy chair by now. Or maybe he's up kicking ass and taking names. You never do know.
But one of the things that's interesting about you, Suze, first off, you've been at this a very short time. You've absorbed what I would call the base material, largely by osmosis, largely because of your own experiences. You were just getting, you say it, confirmation of spirit.
101.52, Randy, playing the game.
All this stuff. And that's why, going through your stories here is important for people to understand that we are all coming together in a sort of universal database that's connecting bits of information right now that are fragmented and kind of serialized out there. But all of this is coming together in a very organic way, and people are at different levels of their unfolding right now. That's why I said earlier in the show tonight, we have to put aside the divisiveness that the alternative communities have been experiencing. And where we cannot put those aside, we then need to, as communities, begin to shunt those people out of our system and leave them to their own devices, because we have to move on here.
That's right.
I said all that to kind of take us to a place where we can maybe tidy up the light charting thing again. I know there was probably some feedback on your end as well as my end the last time as to what this life charting entails. How do we use this to move us through our life? I mean, we chart our life, we see all these key points. Now, how do we move forward through life charting? What is the net gain from all of this?
The net gain is by actually doing the work. The person's physiology, and all their little chemicals and all of these things start changing in their bodies. A lot of people, Randy, want someone perfect or without sin that will bring them the information. And I know that I'm here to be judged. If anybody wants, they can crucify me. I've already put myself on.
He knew they were gonna. Look at that smile.
Everybody's going to hear it. So a couple of my clients asked a question that I think that when I tell you, it's going to blow your mind. All right. They want to know why, if I had such a terrible mother that couldn't love me, that actually might have tried to kill me a little bit along the way, someone that taught me to lie and manipulate,
The program
someone that
is right.
brought all the darkness instead of the light. And then if I have a daughter that quits loving me, then I must be evil. And what I said to those people is I said, you know what? Everybody has heard that little story about the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. I kicked that devil off when I was 16, and I'll tell you how. Now, if I was taught to lie and manipulate and use my sexuality to get what I want, well, I decided to quit lying. Why should I let any man control me and tell me I can't? I was a cheerleader. All right, I can't smoke, I can't drink, and I can't go out with my cheerleader buddies. Guess what I did? All of them, right? Now, when he snuck in my room and tore it apart and found all my paraphernalia and laid it out on the floor
Charlie Vark.
and grabbed me when I came up the stairs, and because he loved me so much, he didn't hit me in the face. He took his fist and he broke it on my attic wall. I grew up in an old house, so you know the wood was strong. He wanted me to drive him to the hospital. That's the day I broke up with him. Okay, so I'm 16 years old and I say, I am not going to lie anymore. Well, wait a second, I'm already caught in a couple lies. I gotta backpedal to get out of those lies, right? And a lot of us lie. They call it white lies. It won't hurt anybody, and you're doing it to make your kid happy or to make your husband happy or whoever. That is the early parts of that soul getting sucked out in my experience. So if a person does not know who they are, either because they tell tall tales or because they are controlled by the need for approval, how can they get a proper ego? They can't. And of course, the lies are only going to go on until the brain crystallizes and shuts down, and the glands quit functioning, and all of these things. So,
Well, let me interject something here, because
Okay.
this is something that I went back to based on my own background and raising children. Is
Yes.
The first lie is the one you tell yourself, because that's the seedbed for every other lie that you're going to generate off of that. And that really is kind of, if there's any such thing, the original sin. It
Yeah.
originates with the ego and the false identity. Because we're really many people. I mean,
Just like
we think of
Elvis.
ourselves as one person, as the I, but it was the Russian philosopher P.D. Ouspensky who studied this and realized that we spin off little I's all the time, little fragments of ego that then become identifiers for a fraction
Is
of
that what
ourselves
happened to
that
you?
operates in a particular
International
zone,
man of
particular
mystery.
space and time. So these behaviors and the concept of lies is something that
Or do
we
we got a
spin off the
computer making all this shit up?
egoic identification.
Or did
And
I
we do it
create
because
this? Who put a
we
spell on
all
who?
just want to be loved.
Right, we just want love.
Most first by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And how much easier is it when you're traumatized? Even, and you know, again, we go back to this whole thing. For many of us, we came in traumatized. I mean, birth is trauma,
Right.
especially the way we do it now. I mean, my
Or
gosh,
the way
you come
Elvis
in
was birthed.
and
Talk
you're
about
yanked out of
trauma.
the womb into a glaring light, and you're smacked.
Huh.
If you're a male, you're circumcised,
Mm.
which is violence done to the most personal and sensitive part of your body. And, you know, there's things that are done to women that are just as horrific too.
Yes, there
But,
are.
but the bottom line is that, you know, right stepping out of the wound, we're already pretty wounded. And a lot of us are carrying wounds that are prenatal,
Right.
pre-incarnation,
Right.
inner incarnation.
I
So
think
we
that's
carry
exactly
all
what
of this
Elvis' story
baggage
is.
and we don't even realize it. And then people wonder why we're so-called evil.
Mm.
I do have something that helped me a lot that I'd like to share with everybody. I started
What?
becoming a holistic stylist in the 90s, and I was doing wellness seminars. You know, whether it was about blood type or nutrition or whatever. And have you ever heard of the Bach flower essences?
Okay, that's where we cut it, and then we can always go into another show. Now, where I want to go from here, because what Randy and I just finished talking about, to me, reminds me of a great Elvis song that we're not going to play because we don't want to get hit with copyrights. But I'd like to read the words to you, and this would be the birthday song words that to me represent Elvis Presley. Okay. So, we're going to my playlist, Journey to Friday. And we're moseying on down this list of 163 videos. And I'll tell you the truth about this list. This started, its creation was centered around the phenomena that I keep talking about, where Mr. A.P says, haha, I figured it out first. I said, nuh-uh, I did, you know, and we go back to that story. But I have to tag that time always as the week between Monday, Thursday, and Easter. So the songs, besides I like them a lot of these people I never knew their music because they're not based in America. And so what we have to bring up now is a great example. Okay, let me be serious. I'm getting really tired. Let's say that you're the band Dire Straits. I love them. One of my favorite songs is Why Worry Now. But anyhow, okay, so Dire Straits. Did you know that the people in the band came from Scotland? You say, who cares? Okay, so they come to America and somebody signs them to a record deal and they cut an album. And you say, okay, I care about that. I know that album, Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms. You say, okay, whatever. Well, you see, let's say that the guys in the band went home to visit their kin And while they were there, they went into the recording studio and they sang every song that was on that album. And they did a benefit concert because they loved their family and friends. And they said, we can create whatever we want because we're not here in the United States or over there in the United States. Now, it wasn't until 2013 that there was a Supreme Court ruling that, say, if Dire Straits wanted to put the music that they created in their homeland on YouTube, that it would not be banned in the United States as it was prior to the year 2013. So now we see the reality of this, and you know, there's a great story that goes with this. We're on the Pink Floyd story now, and the one dude that was angry compared to the other guy that wasn't, you know, and you get into the whole backstory of that. Here he is, not angry anymore, and he's singing Elvis Presley's song, Don't. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. Great version of the song. So everybody's singing Elvis. It doesn't matter where you go. They're all singing Elvis music. And there's a reason for that, beyond the fact that we all love him and this is his birthday party. Okay. So, we're going to go to a video, and I will be turning the volume down and reading the lyrics to the song. And this is a beautiful channel that's called Le Comedy dell'arte. It's French. Okay. So, share screen, definitely. Because I want y'all to see this beautiful background as we do it. And here again, you can find this YouTube channel, LeCommediedellarte, published on September 23rd, 2011, Elvis Presley Live, words and music by Milete, Show More. Okay, and they've typed it here in the information, but we're not going that route because we want the actual picture. So enjoy the visuals, and let's really take to heart the words that are strung together to cast a benevolent spell, let's say. Life, Elvis Presley. Somewhere out in empty space, long before the human race, something stirred. A vast and timeless source began. Intelligence was born, and then there was the world. Okay, I don't have to go so fast, do I? Powers filled the universe. Matter formed and broke the curse of nothingness. Love became an ageless soul. Nature reached her highest goal and breathed the breath of life, everlasting life. Well, creatures come from out of sight. Daylight came from in the night, and all was good. Life became a master plan. Love produced the perfect man that understood. The image of the Maker's word worshipped him with all he had. But then one day, from in the depths, an evil seed grew and manufactured greed that changed the way of life. Thank the Zanash for that. Everlasting life. The Zadokai, the Zadakim. Right, we'll talk about it. Oh, the loving power looked and saw inside the heart of man a flaw began to grow. Well, the fires of hell began to burn, and so he sent his chosen son to let us know that love had surely made us all, and hate would surely make us fall. So far, the cross. So from the cross. Well, he showed the world that dreadful day that love could be the only way, or all is lost of life. Everlasting life. For life is love, and love is life. Those creepy Zadokai, they hate everything that is about life. So that means love. They hate love, and they hate life. And how dare they overtake not only their own dopey religion, which is fine, but they also dopify what you call Christian and what you call Muslim. And so there, my friends, when you ask why would they stir up all this shit and tell all these stories and, really hurt people, you have your answers. Now, if we could take that into our next year and blow out all the candles on, Elvis's birthday cake and make a wish to have this new chapter in the never-ending story. Well, now you can see the importance of Elvis Presley's birthday, or the date of his birth. Okay. I have some pictures that we should really look at, and then we gotta get going. And oh my gosh, this is so flippin' funny. We're gonna save this for CW. I cannot wait. Party of our life, 7 photos. Let's see what I got. Okay. Alright, here we go. Now, this is my buddy Hellmaker. And the theme song today was I Need Your Love So Bad. And so my big mouth responds, okay, 'tis true. We all need the love our singer refers to badly, so much so it becomes the theme on Elvis Presley's anniversary of the day he took his first breath on planet Earth this time, 1/8/35. What's in a year marked if time is eternal? It would have taken me less than 38 minutes considering the love I have. But I'm in the tub current time. If you need some Sue's love later, I'll be live streaming my unique take on partying with y'all kings, so the queens know they are respected as well as now, on equal terms, in the kingdom that comes. Alright? That's one of the things I said today. What else did I say? Oh, hey. Now this is some big-ass gossip. Sometimes you save some big punchline for the end, and I guess that's what's happening. So, last night, Joe's checking this thing out, and he totally is in a different internet than I am, like Randy said. There's more than one internet, and there's many places to be, and I'm really getting tired of messing my bangs up. Oh my goodness. Who cares? But anyhow, I'd hate for anybody to make fun of my hair at this point. Okay, so here's the point now. Talking about making fun of people. Oh my gosh. You guys need to check this shit out. I mean, this is, start at 60.com, HTTPS, and it's Priscilla Presley reveals, a bunch of stuff. So, this person that they keep saying is Priscilla, that is not Priscilla, has been on a world tour, and she's talking shit and telling the same old story, and people are getting pissed. Not only are they pissed because people are dying at that new hotel, with the Legionnaires and that story. Oh no. Or the spell casting that's going to bring in the whole thing about Oprah we're going to talk about. Oh yeah, because here's your hot gossip of the day. Oprah's running for president. Hey, that 200-pound Oprah really ain't Oprah. Ding dongs, you know? Talk about a shiny bauble during somebody's presidency, and ooh, here's what's super creepy, man. When they had me do the remote viewing on Graceland and on the two different Elvises, oh yeah, I saw the spell casting and the dark magic and the parasites and the death that all surrounds that place. So, I've already said it once. I don't back down from anything I say. Everything I say will be proven. So, they're pissed. They're pissed. They've had it up to here. And they're letting her know. And so last night, Joe was reading me all this stuff. And that's what that picture is. This is a whole different story. And then this whole thing about that I shared it and I didn't. And, okay, so, someone that's always with me, so I know he's here at Elvis's birthday party too, is the only person that ever co-hosted Sophia's Emporium with me, Mr. Vic C. Bolero, my dear friend. So today he shares a poem by Edgar Allan Poe, published in 1850. And it says, "Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong, who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, it is therefore the less gone. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. Oh God, can I not grasp? And with a tighter clasp, oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream?" And here's what I wrote to my dear friend that I love with all true purpose, my buddy Mr. Vic. And I said, "Oh, my dear friend, 'tis true, as in a fairy's tale." And I spelled that T-A-I-L on purpose. So if we find out the monster never would do, and love makes true, only happy continuings will have to do. And I said, I feel like a poet that didn't know it. And he loved that. So, that would be that stack of pictures. I have one more. And then we're shutting down Party Town. Maybe there isn't one more. Wouldn't that be nice? I love that lion too, by the way. Oh, I think we're done. We will backtrack though. Not this morning, not at this show, but very soon. And we're going to talk about the age of Aquarius alignment that was the day before Elvis's birthday. And it's very rare. And all of these things should serve as confirmation of spirit of the phenomenon in progress. What a night. What an experience. And if this is a dream, like I said, let's make it a happy ending. So, with that, I'm going to say peace, love, and light from the Big Yellow House on the Third Cosmic Ray in Ferguson, Missouri. And you can find me at Sue's World Emporium on YouTube, as well as Sue's Pratt. So, come check out some videos, and we'll talk again real soon. I'm going to go ahead and close out of Zoom first. So we're going to stop the video, and we are going to stop recording and end the meeting. End meeting for all. All right, it looks successful where we started. That's when I'll be turning this machine off. So, here again, where we started. Appreciate our shared journey. And here's the Priscilla in the wedding dress that isn't the real wedding dress or the real Priscilla. So, let's go out on that. Happy birthday, Elvis. You know I love your fine ass. Hey, we gotta turn it up. Adam, you know I love you too. Trump, I got a done stat for you. Right, I just want to do some hair and have a concert. Love you, Hellmaker. There's a scarab. Y'all got cool hair, man. And I'm a holistic stylist.